You know, I was born in the Middle East, right? Hisham knows something about that. So I grew up in a war zone in Lebanon. Lebanon was, we had like 2 or 3 civil wars when I was around, when I was born. My parents and older siblings had gone and seen the country. I could not see anything because of civil war. So it was, but I knew a lot about weapons and whatnot. So I was very good at, and it's just that I never, participated in anything, but the stuff was available. You could buy a Kalashnikov for $70. I remember going to an arms dealer. They were like a dime a dozen. They were everywhere. The guy, I didn't even know he existed. I wanted to buy for fun. I just wanted to buy some stuff, And you know what? He offered us an RPG launcher, a full RPG launcher, for $70. The shell was $50. It was insane, Anyhow, so 3 civil wars, right? And we had an okay life. I mean, we didn't see anything from where I was. It wasn't that bad. But we got invaded by 3 countries. One of them was the U.S. They got their butt kicked. I didn't do it. No. Another was another neighboring country, Syria. Another was Israel. Everybody had to come in and do something to kick some bad guy out or whatever. So in 1982, I was like 10 and a half, right? And the one of these countries, I won't name who, but you can look up history, you'll find out what it was. They invaded the country to kick some people out, and it was wartime, about 2 or 3 weeks, and then everything settled down, and they were walking patrols. They were under occupation, right? They were walking patrols. The patrols were in the form of APCs, armored personnel carriers, driving in the roads. The guys would take their lunch break in front of our house, right? And I would go out and chat with them. They were very well educated guys. They were nice people from my perspective. We had a lot to talk about. I knew English, they knew English. There were doctors that came from, some of them were doctors that came from Holland to serve, the country. We had nice discussions, right? So it was, I had nothing against them personally, right? But I was 10 years old. I wanted to do something for my country against the occupation, right? They used to fly a helicopter over my house, and Israeli army is pretty good, pretty organized. I said who it was, right? So these guys know what they're doing. The helicopter flew over my house at 3:05 every day in the afternoon, right? So No, guys. No. Hey, the RPG stuff came after. That was the Civil War, okay? The only thing that has to do with RPG at that time is where there were some freedom fighters or whatever. They fled when these guys came, and we went behind the trees, and we saw an RPG launcher with 6 shells, and something was in it, and it was ready to launch. So we went to the Israeli soldiers, told them, guys, we found something here. They go, little guys, go away, let us deal with it. So they took it. That's as far. Anyhow, but my contribution was the following. I was 10 and a half, remember, right? So I was a pretty smart kid. I figured that, we had these firecrackers from China. I don't know how how the Chinese get away with it. You can buy these firecrackers that are this small, and we used to throw them at each other, right? And there was the things that flew, things that, it looks like that missile. You light it up, and it goes away and blows up, So we just chase each other in the streets. Kids are going like that and, fire it at somebody's butt or whatever. Right? I was a smart kid. I made a multiple rocket launcher and lit up the fuses and was chasing people. So I was chasing my buddy once, and he crossed the street, and I was like, I got him. And then as soon as the thing left, a car came in, and the thing went in the driver's side, went around to the car like that, and then it blew up. Right? So I figured that I have experience, so I'm going to do something to that helicopter. These little things didn't fly that far. But there was one that flew really far. It actually flew up really high, and then a guy came out of a parachute. But I estimated that the range was perfect. So for 3 weeks straight, I did my dry runs. I prepared my launcher, which was a Coke bottle, and I kept the same Coke bottle, and I would buy these things with my allowance, and then estimated where the helicopter was. I got it. 3 weeks later, I knew I could get one of these things into the helicopter. I got speed and everything. So I've done my trials, I had it down. It was down to, I knew I was going to get it. So the day off, at 3 o'clock or 2:50 or whatever, I'm getting ready because I know these guys are coming at 3:05. I got everything ready and set up, and I hear the helicopter coming from afar. I'm about to launch, but then I realized something, and it's, in the east, it's siesta time, 3:05. There's nobody. My neighborhood was balconies and stuff like that, but everybody was sleeping. So I realized as I'm like, it's gonna get up there, and all that's gonna happen is a parachute guy's gonna come out. I gotta give it some bang. So I got these Chinese cock brand. They're called cock brand, like chicken cock, 3 of the green ones were like really nasty. I had some at home, so I put them up, arranged the fuses, and everything, within like 2 or 3 minutes, I had it figured out, I thought. So let's give it a shot. I taped them onto the thing, and when I thought it should launch, I lit it up, right? So now you have a missile with a payload, right? Right? But what I did not account for is that lift versus weight thing or whatever. So instead of going like to go there, I lit it up. I'm like, yay, it's gonna happen. Instead of going like that, it went like. And I was looking in horror as it went into the neighbor's bedroom. And because the fuse was longer, about 40 seconds later, it blew up. And the neighbors had silk drapes. They caught on fire. The house was on fire. So I was like standing outside, siesta, everybody sleeping, in my front yard. I tiptoe back and go to my living room, fully prepared to go, and the houses there are not made of wood, they're made of concrete. So I estimated the damage would be confined to the drapes and maybe a little bit of the bed, right? So I was fully ready to go and tell people what I'd done, but luckily I heard like a minute or two later, fire, water. And nobody knew for another 30 years. My dad brought it up once. He goes, do you remember what happened? I'm like, yeah, very interesting. It was me. All right, that's the story. Thank you.